Mate, it's been a week without New Who. It's been a hot minute. Are you feeling better for it?
No. But also,
shit. Okay, never mind.
Also, am I feeling better for No Who?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
The break, the Who break.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I feel like a new man.
Never been better,
I feel happier.
Yeah. Weight off my shoulders.
Like a weight off my shoulders.
Yeah.
No, I feel like we were saying behind the scenes, it feels weird to be back. It's only been a week since I was here, but it feels like, because we were so used to doing, I think, the preview pods on Monday.
Yeah.
We're so used to doing it like twice a week in the studio. It just feels like a long time since I've seen you.
Yeah.
And I think we pushed back filming a little bit because...
I could see you were in Struggle Town. I could see you were like, this season, don't want to talk about it.
Were you as well?
Yeah, I think I was just kind of bored of talking about Doctor Who.
I genuinely, I hate to say it, I don't want to be negative, but like, I was just like, I don't think I can talk about it for a little bit because it's just pissed me off too much.
Yeah,
but here I am, talking about it
for a rarity for us, folks. We're recording on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, boy.
Freo has just beaten top of the table by 1
Fuck
point.
Me.
So
you
I'm
don't
feeling
hold
good.
back, do you,
mate? AFL. Freo, way to go.
What? Okay, you know the majority of our audience are in the UK, and they don't know what you're talking about.
I just like to explain.
I know you wear it on your
Fremantle kit at the moment.
Do you still have the? No, was the old laptop had the Fremantle sticker, or is it this one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but my football team won an incredible game, so that's I'm
love
feeling
to mention that, don't you?
I like to give the boy, all the Freo, all the Doctor Who fans in the Freo team when they're listening. I just want them to just checking in.
It's insane. It baffles my mind.
Yeah, I don't know why I bring it up either. But what we are going to talk about today properly is season 1 of Doctor Who as a whole, a wrap up, you could say. Looking
what
back,
series 1 are we talking about? We're 1963, 2005.
Like multiple choice now. You got A 1963, B 2005, C 2024.
It'd be cool to eventually watch season 1 of 1963 and be able to like rank which season 3 season 1
ones?
I think is the best.
I like it.
We'll get that one day, I suppose.
Yeah, mate. So we're going to be like going through episode by episode of season 1, seeing how we feel with a bit of hindsight in there.
A bit of hindsight, you know.
Just to sort of close off our season 1 coverage, I guess. Better late than never, I'd say.
A week later.
Yeah.
How you been?
Good, mate. Freo just won by 1 point.
Okay. No, how you been? You been okay?
Yeah, good. Refreshed, mate. I started a new job recently, so that's made me feel good. Nice to be taking the mind off Doctor Who, I think, because it was a fucking clusterfuck out there, that Doctor Who stuff. So,
how did you find the film and shit? I think it was just a lot. I think.
Yeah, I think it chips away.
Yeah,
I think it chips away.
I feel like I know there's an argument to be made. It's like, oh, did it take away the fun? It's like I think that if the season was great, I think we'd be feeling tired.
Yeah,
like we obviously because we've been doing a lot of work, but it's like I think we would be feeling.
Well, remember 73 yards, mate. We came down and we were buzzing after that one. So it's like the season was consistently that good.
It's one of the best episodes of Doctor Who ever.
Just incredible, mate. How are you feeling? You feeling good?
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm okay. I think I'm ready to. I'm not giving up on Doctor Who. I'm giving up on this era. And I think I'm ready to go back to 1964.
You're done with it. You're actually more ready for Classic Who than you are for season 2.
Which is a sentence I never thought I'd say. What? I'm ready to pull the lever into the vortex.
Whoa.
And I'm about to pull that lever to 1964 to watch the second serial of series 2.
Yeah,
because
that's why
I'm done with this era. Yeah. And I'm sick of it and I don't want to talk about it, but here I am.
Well, here you are for the next hour talking about it.
I'm getting out of my system. That's a lie. I do want to talk about it because I'm angry. But then once that's out of my system, I might make one more video about it. But then I think from there on out, I'm not doing a live stream for like 2 weeks. I'm kind of done talking about it, and I hope we don't talk about it as well on the show.
Yeah.
After
so
this episode, because I'm sick of it.
We're closing the book today. We're going to vent any of our demons with season 1. Close that book. Slam it shut. Throw it into the vortex.
Yeah, into the vortex.
And then
drag it like Sutek.
From next week onwards, we're going to start sort of trying to refine our formula of doing a bit of Classic Who, a bit of Sarah Jane. Covering
There's a torturous season in there somewhere.
Somewhere, mate. But yeah, so we're going to be looking at doing some rewatch stuff. Next week, actually, we're going to be doing Pyramid of Mars, specifically this new edit.
That's right, I forgot about that.
For Tales of the TARDIS.
So I suppose we will be talking about the final maybe a little bit.
It won't end.
I mean, I suppose it will get brought up.
We'll try not to.
We
should have like like in-betweeners, they do like a punch in the balls whenever they mention Carly's name.
I'll be
we'll do some equivalent of that.
Swig of the Tabasco like I used to do.
Yeah, whenever we bring up season 1, we have to.
This time it's in our eyes instead.
Oh my God.
It burns.
But yeah, folks, yeah, so a lot of fun stuff. Nice change of pace coming up over the next few months, I think. And also a cool little mini series we're going to do with the pod later in the year. So get your ears.
Even I don't know what that is.
You know what this is, mate.
Have I forgotten?
You know what you have just forgotten.
A mini series?
6 episodes.
Oh.
Involving some guests.
That's still happening?
We're doing it, mate.
That's still happening?
We're doing it. We've got to have some traction later in the year.
Okay.
Anyways, so make sure you follow us.
Still happening.
Follow us and subscribe. Because there's heaps of cool shit coming up and we want you guys to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this journey with us. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 50Doctor, on TikTok at 50Doctor Who. Hit us with a 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you have a chance to review, write down your favorite episode of Doctor Who.
And I think we're higher than the official Doctor Who podcast. While you play the intro, we'll check.
Yeah, okay.
But I think we are. I think we're 4.8 in there.
So buckle in, guys. We're going into the vortex, and we're going to be looking deep into season 1 of Doctor Who.
50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50%. Podcast.
Yeah, they're 4.4.
Oh, they've gone downhill with the new season as well.
Yep. So we're 4.8. So yeah, wow.
Fuck, we're good, mate.
I mean, that's still good.
I can hardly hide my erection.
I don't think I
at
see
4.8.
any. I don't think I see any that goes like beyond 4. But yeah, we're higher than. I think every Doctor Who podcast independent show is higher than that.
Yeah, I think every Doctor Who podcast other than the official Doctor Who podcast is higher than the official Doctor Who podcast.
Do you tune into it?
No.
Okay.
No, I've seen a couple of clips online, but not for me, mate. Not for me.
Cool. Thank you for that.
We got a lot to go through today, guys.
Let's do it.
So we're going to go through episode by episode, starting with the Church on Ruby Road, because we've always included the Christmas specials in there.
Right.
So we'll go through what we thought of it, what we think of it now, as well as looking at the score that we gave it as each episode dropped. And then when we get to Empire of Death, we will do your upgrades or deletes for Empire of Death when we get to there.
Oh shit!
So that's what you guys thought.
I didn't know this.
Of that
this
episode.
Is great. I love being surprised on the show.
Mate, I love just not thinking about the show at all and then just springing the show onto you because I really didn't think of this either. But
that's okay.
About 3 seconds ago, I thought of it. And then at the very end of the series, we will add all of our total scores together to give you a total score, average score of the season, mate. Does that sound good to you?
I'm so happy to be here. This is great.
Well, let's jump back to Christmas 2023.
It's Christmas time.
Back
when everything
There's a
was
hidden song. That means nothing.
This creature is wrong.
What did you think of... What do you think now of the Church on Ruby Road, now that we have a full season of Doctor Who after it?
Honestly, I just think it's fine. It's not... And I never felt this way about it, to be fair. I think it's like a fine episode. I don't really see myself revisiting it a lot. I think before Series 1 came out, I chucked it on for like 15 minutes. And I was like, oh, it's enough. I'm going to turn it off. I think it's fine. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I think it's just so stock standard, down the middle. I think it was fun I watched it with my whole family. I think it was fun to watch it like Christmas time. But I think to an extent, this might be a controversial opinion, but I think sometimes Doctor Who Christmas specials have to have like, they have to be a little bit like, kind of like throw away a bit of fun, like a little bit of fun. It's not meant to be taken too seriously.
Yeah.
I think it sets up the era pretty well. We particularly seeing like Space Babies is like straight after, which I think is cool. But yeah, honestly, pretty stock standard for me. It's a lot of setup, which is interesting in the episode. Now looking back, Davina McCall, I suppose, never did the tests because she couldn't find Ruby's mum.
Well, the DNA test doesn't come through till fucking 2046, according to Empire of Death. So that's why that doesn't stack up. But so there is a reason there.
Though?
Yeah.
But how? How could she not find her? Like,
because there was no DNA test on record until Roger Al William or whatever the fuck his name is.
Okay,
enforced
fine. I still think there's ways of doing it. I suppose.
Probably not, but I appreciate...
Davina McCall is a bad host.
Is she?
I don't know. I just think it's silly, okay?
I think it's all right, middle of the road episode. It's a bit of fun. I hate to say this because I'm usually kind of against episodes ruining other episodes, but I do really feel that the way this all wraps up really does hinder a lot of the big question marks and interesting things about this episode. which I think sucks because I quite like Church and Ruby Road. I gave it a we both gave it a 7, which I think is like a respectable, fun Christmas special score. But mate, just no fucking dogs in it. Do you know what I mean? Like
there was. You just couldn't see him.
Yeah, I was on the TARDIS the whole time.
He was on the TARDIS.
But I think that sort of sums up the whole season. It just didn't have a fucking dog in it, mate. It's so soft. Yeah. It is so soft. And it's like, I like Doctor Who with a bit of grit behind it. And maybe sometimes it does go too dark, but I take that over like just meaningless Doctor Who, if you know what I mean. Like this season for me, I guess now, we'll move on from Church and Ruby Road and look ahead to season 1, the next 8 episodes. And it's like, for me as a whole, it is just so soft. It's so lukewarm. The only time they ever really slightly take a risk is 73 Yards, being just like a wacky episode. Doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it's wacky and fun and different and unique. And then again, maybe with Boom, having like an isolated the Doctor on a line main for a whole episode. The rest of the season takes 0 risks at all. Not fucking one, mate. And I'm sure people will be like, oh, but they did Dot and Bubble. And I'm like, yeah, they did. I
agree with that. What would do you think it was risky to put? Well, there's a difference between risky and just plain stupid ideas, I think. Mm-hmm. Would you say it was risky to do Space Babies and Devil's Core as a 2-part opener?
Stupid idea.
Yeah, I agree. I think the two can get a bit, a bit lost in translation. I think it was just like, I don't think it was risky. I think it was just like kind of silly.
Yeah, that was dumb. I've got a lot of questions that I will never ask to Russell, but hypothetically...
You never ask what to himself in person?
Yeah, when I sit him down. But I got a lot of hypothetical questions to Russell where it's just like, there's a lot of things about this season that I just think, why did you start with Space Babies? And I enjoy Space Babies.
I know, that's the thing. We are, if you don't know, kind of...
Space Babies supremacy.
We're kind of rare defenders of that episode.
Yeah, we are, yeah.
But I think even same as you, I think you can agree with this. Even I go but I don't think it was a great opener.
No, not at all.
But I enjoy it, but I think that's because I'm a Doctor Who fan who can enjoy this dumbass shit. But I think as I was saying on a live stream last night, my family has no intentions on rewatching and watching any of the series past Devil's Core because I didn't like it.
I think it was a silly mood to do that.
It's so hard to. It's just so hard to deal with that fact, but it's it's kind of true. It's
because I think you can maybe look at, and once again, it's the lack of risks. Russell's looked at his formula from the past with this season, I think, and tried to replicate that, which I can understand. But I think it's like his formula for seasons 2 to 4 definitely had really light-hearted opener. Walking fat, rhino policeman, fucking cat hospital nuns. But
shop dummies.
That wasn't forget about shop dummies. That wasn't those 2 to 4 weren't the start of a whole new era. And I'd say that those ones are kind of silly openers. I enjoy them because I was a kid, and maybe this was a hit with the under 35-year-olds. This series of Doctor Who, but you look at things like Rose, which does have a bit more grit to it, even though it is shop dummies, and even though there is still camp and silliness in there. There is like a grit and a level of... It has dark moments that I just think Space Babies doesn't have. And the dark moments, you can have silly shop window dummies doing silly shit. But if you have those darker moments, you have that level of gravity, you have the Doctor talking about a war that has destroyed his life. That is what an adult then jumps onto. Whereas this was Space Babies, and the Doctor said there was genocide and stuff, but it's a blink and you miss it moment early on in the episode.
Gone,
baby.
It's even like, the reason why Rose goes upstairs is to give, is it Wilson or something? Wilson the money, and the Doctor's like, Wilson's dead.
Yeah.
It's like, it's dark, it's to the point,
It is.
I don't know, I think there's an argument to be made, I think, that maybe those episodes, we're talking about the premieres from season 1 to 4, for Russell's era at least. I think that I think there maybe is an argument to be made that it was a different time, a different era.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think maybe now Russell is trying to do what worked in the past, but maybe I hate to say it, maybe TikTok brained kids aren't into that. I don't. Maybe it changed.
I also think
the TV landscape changes all the time. So
exactly, and literally bouncing off that, I think premieres have always been important, but I think premieres have never been more important than they are now.
I completely agree.
Because with live TV, you can just jump in. All of a sudden, you're watching Gridlock, and you're like, "Oh, this is great! This is the first episode of Doctor Who I've ever watched, or this is the first episode of this season I've ever watched." But now, if you get an inkling to watch Doctor Who, you go to episode 1 when you are streaming.
Correct.
Yeah. And I know that they do still broadcast them on Saturday nights or whatever in the UK, but most people, as we saw from the viewing figures, watch this stuff through iView or iPlayer and Disney Plus. So premieres are important, and I don't think that's something that Russell sort of handled well with this one. But let's talk about Space Babies, because it is really fun.
We think it is. I know a lot of people hated it.
Yeah.
It's so weird because I've seen multiple people saying, I've seen a lot of like Twitter threads, like, what's your favorite episode of this season? And I've seen a lot of people saying Devil's Core, which, aired alongside Space Babies. Maybe I'm nuts, but I know you and I think you like Devil's Core more than me, but I think that Space Babies to me is just so much more my kind of Doctor Who than Devil's Core. Yeah. I understand completely why people don't like it. For me, it's a bit of a fun episode that it's dumb, it's silly. I know a lot of people were turned off by literally these Space Babies.
Yeah.
I think it's silly. I think it looked odd.
So you're talking about Space Babies? Or
Space Babies, the actual babies themselves. I know it looked odd. I know the mouths movement didn't really match the voices, and I think the whole villain being literal snot is like disgusting and foul, and it makes me feel sick. But I guess I'm kind of there for it. I know this is why this is what makes everyone's opinion so interesting, is that we actually kind of liked it, but I feel like so many people didn't.
Yeah.
But it gives me New Earth vibes, I suppose. I don't even think it's even as good as New Earth. I'm a New Earth defender.
I know you are,
but it's like I think it gives kind of like New Earth vibes, and but I totally understand why people don't like it, and I can get. Totally, I don't understand why. And by the way, I had to hear it. I heard it from multiple people.
We've heard it from bloody everyone, mate.
Why did they open with this? And it's I even heard Crispy Pro saying it. And this is like the Mr. Rogers of Doctor Who YouTubers,
whatever the fuck that means. But yeah, sure that.
The Mr. Rogers, the always positive, It's
right,
even he's saying it. It's I think it's a. It's a.
I think tonally
weird thing. I don't know.
Tonally, it's the wrong choice for the premiere, I think. But why I take this over The Devil's Cord and a few other episodes this season is that I think it actually works story wise. It makes sense.
I do too.
I think
agree. I know.
It's a kiddie movie.
Yeah.
It's like a Pixar film as a Doctor Who episode, right? Not as emotionally rich and complex as that maybe, but in terms of tone, it is. And it works. But then I look at Devil's Cord, which maybe we can move on to Devil's Cord now if you're ready to do so.
Let's do it.
Which I think doesn't make sense. I think there's all sorts of question marks about it. There's great performances in there. It looks fantastic. But I think the script's poor as.
I completely second that.
And I do think this was an early red flag for us in this era. And I think we were pretty quick onto maybe catching on to some of Russell's
I think the red flag for me was Starbeast.
Oh, that was a big red flag. But then we had Wild Bill Yonder, and the Google was good enough.
Yeah. I'm only kidding, obviously, but
yeah, and that was hard because that was just specials, and it's easy to maybe crumble under the weight.
I think Devil's Cord is, which is so crazy to me because I know so many people love it, and that's fantastic. For me, it's an episode I could easily go without ever watching again. I know it's quite harsh.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far with it, but
I generally would. I generally don't think I need to watch it again. I think for an episode that's meant to be kind of bombastic and colourful and musical, I think it's very dull. Mm-hmm. I think the script is lacking. I think the Beatles were completely underused and just I kind of hate that they're in it. They're kind of in it, but they're not. And then they come back in at the end, and it's the savior. And
I hate that. that's where everything really falls apart for me with this episode.
Yeah,
it loses
and
its
I know
momentum.
You're a big Beatles fan as well, so I'm sure that would hurt a bit more. And it's
Yes
like,
and no. Like,
but it must suck to know that they can't do a Beatles episode again.
No, they can't.
Really,
Yeah,
and
and
like they've done it. Like they've done it. Like, you know.
But I think it's like that aside, it's like you don't want the guys that were only in it for a few lines in the first act to be the guys that somehow save the day by finding the magical chord. The magical chord that isn't established because I can't fucking remember, man. But it's like
the lost chord. Or
what
something?
is the lost chord?
The hidden chord.
Was it this? No, the devil's chord is what brought them back.
Yeah, then it's the lost.
The lost chord sends
the hidden chord.
What does this shit fucking mean, man?
It's
like, it's so mystical.
Yeah.
It's so like nonsensical, and I don't mind. I actually don't mind Doctor Who going into like myth and fantasy a bit, but I still think there needs to be a bit of reality in there, and I don't think fantasy stuff just goes, this magical chord will send them back. Like, that is shit fantasy. Like, fantasy still needs to have laws that make sense.
It's very convenient. It's like this whole idea of like,
that's the best word to describe this season, man.
The soul is the reason why all the gods are coming in, and
everything about this season is super convenient.
I feel like every argument is answered by, oh well, they're gods, and it was the hidden chord, and it was the thing that you're too stupid to understand. It's like, well, I don't know about that. I think it's like, also like just a tiny little gripe which I have about this episode is like, I remember the Friday before, so it was Friday and then it was airing on the Saturday. They released a clip from Devil's Chord where it was the scene where Shooty and Millie run down the staircase, like, that's the giggle. You know, it's like,
but they spoiled the.
I'm gonna tune into the episode.
Yeah.
Why? That's actually a scene that I would love to have watched live. I'm gonna tune into it. Why? Like, it's little things like that just bug me.
And I think for a
the
season,
isolating of the sound, it's just
dumb.
There's so many things.
Dumb as
I don't
man.
like it as an episode. I
don't
like it as an episode.
I really, really don't like the Toymaker reference. For me, that's like, for a season that's really trying to stand on its own 2 feet, and it already is plagued.
I got ripped in half.
It's already plagued on Disney Plus by having the specials come out, and then people are like, do we start with specials or do we start with season 1? It's already plagued by that. To then go and throw in this Toymaker reference, and you don't really know, and the Doctor's like, oh, you then have the whole angle of, it ripped me apart, and you're like, that's not how it happened in the giggle.
I don't feel any. This whole series is very much like, you put the pieces together as to why the Doctor feels this way. We won't show you it. But it's like, you put the pieces together. I don't understand that. They were hugging and dancing, you know, when the bi-generation happened. It's like, it ripped me apart. I barely won. And they did it with Sutek. Like, I barely won. Yeah. It's like, okay, like, I don't believe it. The episode is very dull for me. I think it has so many elements that could be cool. I know you don't really like the music notes coming out. I like that. I kind of think that's cool. I just think for an episode that's supposed to be musical, it's so dull for me.
Yeah.
And the ending
There's
song
always
is just
a twist at the end.
I don't love the song. I love Murray normally. I think he kind of missed it a little bit there. And I just think the scene is, though, like, really well choreographed and shot. I think the thing that took away from it the most was that it had no meaning behind it. It was, if they would have done that to defeat Maestro, which I think even people who like the episode could agree,
be way better, way more impactful.
And it's just simple things like that. I just feel like I don't know how they didn't get it this season. That we're saying it, but they don't.
I think a lot of it comes down to Russell. He's always like, "Oh, but you can do this stuff in Doctor Who because Doctor Who can be anything." And I'm like, "Yeah." But
it's also got to make sense.
It does have to make sense.
Yeah.
Doctor Who can be any genre at once. It really can be. But it has to make sense. It has to work within, like, the lore of Doctor Who. Like, do you know what I mean? And, like, I don't mind the odd fourth wall break. I don't mind them doing it once or twice. Obviously, we have Miss Flood doing it. We have Shooty with the wink. We've had a few moments of that. But it's gotten a bit excessive throughout the show, I think, to the point where it's not fun.
You're kind of onto this now, aren't you? You're not really a fan of it.
Yeah, if it's a once off or second off thing for a bit of fun, then I get it. But now that it's happened a few times, it's just like a bit annoying now. It really is. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just think it for an episode. I think honestly, I hate to say it, I just think it falls flat. And I know people personally who absolutely loved it. And I think that's great. I'm never going to take that away from people. I just think for me, it's go on, do it.
Kill yourself.
Kill yourself.
I just don't get it personally.
Yeah.
There was a huge difference for me with Space Babies, the excitement versus Devil's Core for me first.
Yeah, we were swapped with
But we were so
else.
swapped.
Yeah.
Everyone was the complete opposite. Everyone really disliked Space Babies and really enjoyed Devil's Core. And I think it generally was just down to Jinx Monsoon's performance.
Yeah.
Like, who I think
They were really good.
was wasted in a sense. Like, I think that I hope she returns. I hope Neil will return. I don't know what Russell's cooking. And you know the worst thing? I don't care.
Yeah, I'm not excited.
I don't care. That's the worst thing about it all. It's how horrible is this? Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't really care.
RIP Doctor Who 1963 to 2022. We're going to be back in 2 seconds, right? To talk about Boom. And through the power of technology, my coffee is going to turn into a beer. Thank God. I was so thirsty. Jesus Christ.
Where'd that come from? My God.
Just the power of
My God.
of Russell T Davies' mythical ass. Let's talk about Boom, man. Boom, episode 3. You fucking loved Boom, mate. You simped it. You watched it 84 times in 1 week.
It's why I'm here, man.
You still like it a lot?
Do I ever? I watch it like once a week.
My God.
I have to, Aiden. I have to.
Yeah, right.
It's just why I love Doctor Who. It's slow dialogue scenes and it's Moffat's ass back in it, and I'm here for it. I love it. I'm such a simp for it. I'm a simp for these next 2 episodes. I think it's sad because I feel like this was it was this and next week where I feel like I was like, no, this is really great. Like this is exactly what I want out of this. But I feel like this was just a rare ray of sunshine.
I think so.
The shit.
Well, I think the season did start off well because all the questions the season asked were really interesting. And then it just peters out. And some of the episodes don't hit for me, and then the main story doesn't hit for me. I think it just slowly starts to peter out. But yeah, Boom's great, man. You gave it a 9. I gave it an 8. I think I stick with those. I think we can't change them, but I
love it.
Yeah, I think it's really good. I think it's a little flawed at times just with some of the dialogue and the ending I don't like.
Fish fingers and custard are my favourite. What a line. It's so funny.
I think the ending's silly for such a grounded episode. I think it's pretty silly when all the ambulances rock up and then
it's
sort of like the equivalent of the Sonic saving the day at the end as well.
This girl's dad just saved the day.
Yeah.
It's kind of cringe.
It is very cringe at the ending. And some of the CGI just in that last scene doesn't hold up for me. But hey, yeah. That wouldn't detract from the score.
It's very set. It's the entire thing is like set confined and like
great, mate. Fucking great.
I kind of love it. I think it's definitely one of my favorite episodes of Doctor Who of all time. Which is so weird because I kind of hate this series, but I have these 2 episodes that I feel like they're my kids. I love them.
Baby.
They
boom, boom, boom.
And they're by 2 writers who I love, Moffat and Russell. Like it's why I tune into Doctor Who. It's so me, and I know it's easy to be like, oh, this season kind of sucked, but it's like, yeah, I mean, if this series never happened, we never would have gotten episodes like this. And even the fact that Moffat came back and it was such a surprise and it was fun and it was an event that he was coming back.
It was really, and it totally lived up to it because it's everything that a good Moffat script is. Like, good Moffat script is. It's like an isolated story, very character focused, very fun dialogue. At times a little bit wanky, but still really fun dialogue. And even within that wanky dialogue, there is lines I love, like everything's a beach eventually. I do like that line.
It kind of makes sense.
It does 100% make sense. I get what he means by that.
Does every planet, though, have water? Like seas?
No, but he just means like everything turns to dust and sand eventually, you know.
I quote Boom on a regular basis.
Shall we dance, Connor?
I listen to the Skyboat song pretty much every day. I think it's such a great inclusion. Yes. War is business, and business is booming. And I think particularly in like the day and age we live in now, that line is so fucking true.
Yeah, man.
And I love it. I think it's the perfect episode to put on when you're a bit sent. I think it gives us Shooty and Millie's as like just as a Doctor and companion. It gives us our best moments together. I think.
I agree. They're at their best there.
There's fucking conflict for once
between the companions. Yeah, companion and Doctor.
They disagree with each other. Like you know, it's when like
the only time in the series that they do.
I was like,
can you believe that?
Sadly, I have to. You know, I think it was such a great moment where they were like disagreeing with each other, and it's the only moment I even felt like it's the only moment the Doctor gets angry at Ruby, and I love it. Even when Ruby gets shot and you know she's gonna live, it's still cool. And the slow mo's a bit lame, but it's like
bit overcooked that part. But yeah,
I can kind of let it go. I really do just love this episode. It's why I love Doctor Who, and I don't think Christmas with Steven's gonna beat this.
No, I don't think so. But I think it should be super fun.
I'm keen to see what he has cooked up, but I think that I will always just be glad that he got to come back. And I respect Moffat for even being publicly saying like, I wasn't happy with my last script. I think we all weren't happy with it. Although the last like 10 minutes of Twice Upon a Time is really great. I think the rest of it is just shit, and even he admits it. I think it was great that he got to come back. I think if Russell wasn't at the helm of the ship, he probably wouldn't have. So the fact we even got that to happen, I've got to give this era a bit of credit. I think that if this era didn't exist, we wouldn't have gotten this, which I think is, definitely in my maybe top 10 episodes of all time.
Cool.
Love it.
Yeah, worth saying, like, as much as we're definitely slagging off a bit of RTD at the moment, guy's super talented, has brought us some of the best Doctor Who. In this season, was one of the best Doctor Who, which we'll talk about in a second, 73 yards. Ever, mate.
Yeah.
But I think with me right now, I have like a really bad taste in my mouth with Russell. One, because the episode sucks. But two, I've given Russell the benefit of the doubt so much. And I've backed up some of like just the weird things he said in commentaries and things that are just a little bit his way or the highway. But then like you get to comments like, oh, we would... the whole Ruby's twist thing generates content. I hate that. And I think I'm just at a point now where I've stood up for him enough and I need him to fucking stand up to me. Do you know what I mean? Like I need to see good shit from Russell back now because I've tried and I've justified fucking Space Babies to my friend that was like, what the fuck was Russell thinking? This guy was like a guy that loved Russell T Davies back in the day, doesn't watch any of the new stuff, but he gave it a crack and watched Russell.
Yeah, I've done the same thing.
And he went,
let's take it back a little bit. Let's remember that.
And it's the whole like, you know, you can criticize your own kid, but other people can't.
Yeah.
But I'm sick of being like that. Like,
I know.
Doctor Who,
the exact same spot,
should be a show restarted now with a Disney Plus budget. Yeah. Should be a show that's standing on its own 2 feet and should reach a new audience. And we shouldn't be sat here with our heads in shame of what the show is.
Man, I've been there. I've done the exact same thing as you. Down the pub mostly with dad's mates who are like, I've heard the ratings are bad, and I've defended it. I'm like, look, I think that it's just. I've defended it, you know. I've been in the exact same spot.
I think Russell needs a bit of everyone. There's gonna be people out there that are like, "Oh, you're just a fucking kid in your mom's basement. You can't tell Russell this." But you know what?
This is a shed. I'll have you know.
But I'm gonna fucking say it. The shed was a TARDIS all along. I'm kidding.
Wow.
I'm gonna fucking say it. Russell needs a fucking rain check, mate. Like he generally does. I think And you have been said for a while, you think Russell's getting a bit producer brain, right?
Yeah, TV brain, man. Yeah.
And I've always stood up for him in that conversation. I've always said I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah.
But I think when you see the comments he's made around the finale, you see how the finale ended up. I have to agree, dude. He's not putting story first. He's putting conversation and that kind of thing first. And conversation can be good when you're dealing with big topics. Yeah, but when you're dealing with the topics of, you know, the fate of a character, of who their mum is, generating content and conversation about that shouldn't be your number one priority. It should be paying off your story.
You said it though. I think you hit the nail on the head. You said like terrestrial TV and streaming is two different things. And I think Russell is the king of terrestrial, maybe, but streaming, maybe he just doesn't get.
I think he needs.
Maybe he doesn't get it. Like maybe he doesn't understand.
I don't know about that, but yeah, it's just an oddball, mate.
Well, how can you explain it though? What happened?
I think he's not.
Something happened.
I think he's sat here trying to make. Okay, this is a dumb call, and some people will call me really dumb for this. I think he's thinking too much about the audience than the stories he's telling. Okay, and audience is important. It's super important to have a target audience and things like that. But I think he's more interested in making stories that are going to make people have like big conversations afterwards, which sometimes are really great. Like it's great to have Dot and Bubble for better or for worse. It is great to have those conversations after that episode, right? That's probably a good example, right? But then you have generating conversations about who's Ruby's mum is and stuff, but he doesn't know what that story is. He's not as focused on telling a good, unique story and is more focused on the ramifications of it.
If I ran, and I don't have any qualifications in like running this shit, but I would like to think that I have like a team together that like it's like we know we're going to take this, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with like I've seen so many twats on Twitter being like it's a continuing thread. Sure, there can be continuing threads. We had it with Carly's Crack, and we had it with even Chibnall did it with Thomas Child in Ghost Moment, Jodie's second episode. Like, there's nothing wrong with continuing threads. Science will fall. Continuing threads. I just think that like, sure, we can say like, oh, maybe it was the reason why it snowed will be because of Ruby's dad, which I'm sure there might be something about him, but I just think it's like so ridiculous.
No.
I've never seen the community. Normally, I've seen the community be so like either so negative or so positive. This just seems like we're all just kind of agreeing that like we don't understand why. And I've seen Russell say multiple times in like commentaries and stuff. It's like you'll go back and watch those scenes and go, "Oh, that's why you did it." But it's like you're leaving your audience now with this one thought till Christmas till we get an episode, and until next year, probably around Easter till we get season 2.
Just feel flat as a pancake, mate.
Exactly. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth. It's not, yeah, you're flat as a pancake. No one's excited. All I've ever seen for some dumb reason, he's making comments like, I've been writing episode 5 and it's the most wild thing ever. And
just stop saying.
All I see, every comment is, I don't believe you. Yeah, whatever. Like, it's not, the community is in an awful place.
Because
it's bad.
Because Russell keeps saying it's the best episode I've ever done. You're going to love this one. It's going to be great.
He did say about 73 yards, though, and he did cook.
Yeah, he did cook with that one. We'll get to that in fucking 10 seconds,
He did cook.
But he says that about everything. It's the most magical, the beautiful, most beautiful episode you've ever seen. And now it's like so many of those episodes haven't been great. And I'm like, well, these are just fucking words now, man. And like, I think he needs to
should I believe you?
Needs to take a page out of Chib's book and just lock himself and lock himself away into a fucking office and not talk to the press for a second and just actually make fucking good content.
I think Chib did that too much, but I do agree.
I'd rather Chib not fucking talking than me get
100%.
Because Russell, like genuinely right now, I'm at a point where I just don't want to see an interview with him. Like I don't. But they come up and I don't watch them. His Instagram posts come up, I slide away.
I hate to say it. I mean this in the nicest way possible. And this is coming from me, who is an attention whore. I think he loves attention, and that's okay. Like, you're in that field. You're in the right field to get attention.
Well, we're making a fucking podcast.
I'm a YouTuber. I love attention too. But I think that he loves attention a little bit too much, and I think that's what's been happening. By the way, before we get to 73 hours, what did you mean by take a rain check? Do you mean just like what we were just saying then? Like,
I think someone needs to just take him down a peg. Like, genuinely. Like,
but what
about
Phil and Julie and Susie?
My biggest hope.
Is it Susie?
I think the best thing that can come out of this finale is that he sees that people didn't like it.
But season 2's been written.
Yeah, so there's nothing good about season 2, but I hope he can sit down and go like, oh, fuck, like, maybe I have shat the bed with this one. And then he can maybe...
Everyone loved him.
Everyone did, and that's what really sucks, because I love Russell. I stood up for him my whole fucking life.
Bro, I was saying this on the live stream last night, like, I feel embarrassed in saying this on air, but like, The night before I found out what my nephew was having a gender reveal, like my sister was having a gender reveal for my nephew, and we are going to find out if it was a boy or a girl. The night before, I found out Russ was coming back. And as exciting as it was to find out that my nephew was going to be a boy, I remember just thinking, like, but Russell's coming back to Doctor Who. This is so exciting.
I don't give a fuck about it.
I cared so much about that, but I was also like, oh my God, Russell's coming back. And it was the most exciting thing ever. If you could have, like, I don't have the words to describe how excited I was. If you could have told me in the future how I was talking now, I would never have believed you. I would never have believed you.
Do you know
it's so sad.
Do you know how it feels like right now? Feels like my footy team just made it to the grand final and they've shut the bed in the first quarter. That's how it feels.
I wouldn't know how that feels like.
Actually, neither would I because we don't make grand finals. But hey,
flag mantle, you got to believe.
We will #believe Ted Lasso. Okay, let's talk about 73 yards, mate.
No matter what you say or what you do, they still love me.
I fucking still love 73 yards, baby.
Can we now praise
Russell? Yeah,
the man himself, who we just shat on for fucking 10 minutes.
Took risks. This guy takes risks.
Yeah, this is
for 45 minutes.
Maybe I haven't done a affirmative list in a while, but this might be.
Yeah, you never fucking know the answer when it's important.
That's a K9 reference because you said
5.
Affirmative.
I know. Top 5, maybe top 3. This might join Waters of Mars and Heaven Sent.
Big call.
I just love it.
Well, that's all right then.
And you know what? I love that I watched it with you for the first time. We enjoyed that experience together and we just loved it. And
we were that inspired. We made a skit for the start of the podcast.
Correct. There's that. Watch me when you call my name. I listen to that every day, just like Skyboat's on, the song that plays in it. And do you know what? Do you know what? I think like Russell was limited, and I think less is more. He was limited. He didn't have Shooty. He had to write a script around it. And we've seen how he goes when he gets big with Sutek. For me, it didn't work. When less is more, it worked for me.
I agree.
And less was more. As much as I love Boom and I can praise it, as much as I think this episode is just so it's so me. It's weird. It's like, it's not, my favorite movie is A Lighthouse. It's not like The Lighthouse, but it reminds, it's like the most lighthousey episode of Doctor Who for me. It's
like a little weird.
It's just weird.
And
I think the praise to Millie Gibson,
incredible.
She is at the age of 18. She is just so incredible. This episode never would have worked if we had an actress who was not capable, and she is just, she carries it. You don't, as much as you miss Shooty, you don't, and the Doctor, like you don't, it doesn't affect the episode. It doesn't, you don't go, I wish the Doctor was here.
I don't miss him in this one. I miss him in the next one.
I miss him in the next one as well. Correct.
But this is also the first episode directed by
Mr. Holmes.
Our boy Mr. Holmes is here.
Him. It's so,
Mr. Holmes.
Love that guy.
That, particularly like the one scene that really gets me is when she's finally walking through the town and it goes past like the graveyard and it's snowing and she goes to the pub and it's like, if you could go into my head and create the perfect Doctor Who episode for me, it's like, yeah, you would get episodes like Waters of Mars and Heaven Sent and 73 Yards. It's just, it blows my mind it's Russell because I've been so negative about him this season, but it's like, please do more of this because it's exactly what I love.
The production is fantastic. I think, actually, massive call. I think best episode looking of Doctor Who. That sentence made no sense, but you know what I mean. Visually, I think it's the best looking episode of Doctor Who. Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Everything on the cliffs looks fantastic.
I want to get him on the pod.
The fucking effort that they went into with shooting this, like on the cliffs.
And it was the first episode, wasn't it?
Particularly the time of day. Yeah, it was the first episode. Particularly the time of day. That like they had specific moments when they'd be able to shoot this because of where the sun was at. Incredible. Yes, I think the second act with the fucking Roger Al Williams isn't as good. But oh my God, the first act, or at least the first half, is pretty flawless. I think, we discussed this on the show. I think it's maybe slightly not quite believable that Carla would run away from Ruby and not explain or say anything.
I kind of love that though.
I just don't believe it. I'd believe it if Carla turned around and said, Ruby, I'm so sorry, but I just can't have you in my life anymore, and we don't know why. I think that's more scary because that's more real. Whereas with Carla running away, I just don't quite believe it, and that takes away from the fear factor a little bit for me.
I get that. I do. I don't know. It's kind of funny, like looking back at this episode now, with it being like Russell not answering questions in the final. I know we are defenders of this episode where we were like, I think Russell does know the answers to these questions, and we're just never going to find the man. The idea of our own thoughts are scarier than that. I understand that with the whole Carla thing.
Her name is Carla. So reference to Scrubs.
I just think it's so. Do you know what's so? It's like it felt like we were on like a good winning streak with like Boom and the Doctor and Ruby, and like a scene I really appreciate is when Ruby goes back to the TARDIS. She's like, "Look, I don't even know you that well. Like we haven't been traveling for that long.
Yeah.
Like if maybe this is what you do. I love that line. It's like maybe it's just what you do. I love how she says that. Like maybe it's just what you do.
Yeah. Which
and
I get.
I think that's the last time I felt that connection between them.
Yeah.
There's something about this episode. It just works for me.
I agree.
It just works for me, and I love it.
Yeah, I love it. It's perfect.
I genuinely love it. It might be
the ending
free for me.
The ending works for me as much as I'm still here. Like I don't fucking know, man.
I don't know. I love that. I love that.
I love the little Kate cameo in there. That was great.
Oh, it's so. And I think Shooty is he's so beautiful in it. And we are here. We are in Wales. Spectacular. I love him. I think I felt like, if we can catch this moment forever, which we don't. Spoiler alert. If we can catch this moment forever, it'd be fantastic. It's a very dark, it's very turn lefty, like worst timeline.
Yeah.
Type thing. I do for once agree with Russell saying like, what's something so bad that someone could tell a mother that would make them run away from their daughter forever? I think it's scary. Although it may be a little bit unrealistic, I can understand that. I think it's like so scary, and I think everyone thinks into their own lives and thinks, what's the one thing maybe my mum could hear about me that makes her run away? Like it again, maybe a little bit unrealistic, but I still love it, and I love you forever, Russell.
Do you know what would make me run away?
What? He does cook still.
He does cook.
He does cook still. Because he makes Wild Yonder, and he makes.
I think
he
cooks individual
it's
like
those.
He can cook like a specific script really well.
I know.
And then it's his middle of the road scripts that aren't quite concept focused. That I think, it kind of leaves me a little bit.
But I think it's a limited. Like I was saying, like the limited. Almost like it was
the more restricted ones.
Yeah, and I feel like Wild Yonder was like kind of restricted. It was like it was taken away from everything else. It was just like a space station.
What
like,
a story. Let's
what's the story, Mark?
What's the story of Bella fucking Mori, mate?
Yeah.
Let's do this one kind of quick because we've spoken about this one plenty, and I don't have anything new to add to it.
Do you love it now?
Dot and Bubble.
Yeah, do you love it?
No. Love the ending, mate. Love the glove.
Love the glove, Ruby. Love the glove.
And I understand what he was going for, and I get why people love it. I love what he was going for throughout it. Generally, like that's why I boosted my score up to a 6 after a second watch of it.
Well, that's generous.
Well, we both did. No, you gave it 5. But I still think like I just don't enjoy it. Like you can throw in all the stuff as you want with no one being white in it beforehand, all the little references, all the cleverness of certain bits of dialogue.
That, you racist.
I am therefore racist. All the clever bits of dialogue, great, but I just think the first 35, 40 minutes is just boring because I don't give a shit about the characters. I think fucking Mr. Holmes, great. Like, I do think it's well directed. I just think I just don't root for anyone throughout the episode, and maybe I'm just too in the headspace that I have to root for characters.
You're racist, Aiden. Remember that.
Yeah, that's right. I am just racist.
That's why you don't like it.
But yeah, I just not really into stuff where I can't root for the characters. And I think characters were written too dumb and too unbelievable for me to really give a shit. Like, it's one thing for characters not to be likable, to then be asked to root for them. But then when they're not believable, then it falls apart for me, mate.
I'm going to say something controversial.
You're racist because you didn't see it coming.
I kind of saw it coming, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I'm going to say something controversial. I think that with this episode, similar to the way that they handled Rose's stuff of being trans, I think these are definitely communities that I care about, that I wish were getting great representation. But when I see Russell do it poorly, I don't have a problem calling it out. And yes, it's not my place to say, because I'm not one of those minorities. But also I am someone who wants to make a conscious effort to support them. And I think it is also okay for me to say that I don't think that that's the way you should do it. And I don't think you did it well. And that's just the way I feel about it.
Sure. You're allowed to think whatever you want.
Same with, like, particularly like the trans community, like something that I really care about. And
yeah, let's just give her one line in the finale.
And I just think, as I've already said, like, I think there's a video made by a trans creator called Is Doctor Who Trans Now, which says it 110 times better than I ever will. But it's like, I just don't think it was handled well. Similar to this episode, I just don't think it was handled well.
Yeah, fair.
We seem to have been wrong because everyone hated us, notoriously.
Let's move on.
And that's okay.
Let's fucking dig the hole. Ditch Scott and Bubble into
I'm never
it.
going to talk about that shit again.
Fill it back up.
You know that, right?
Done.
Will you rewatch it with are you going to get the Blu-ray? Are you going to rewatch it?
I will, yeah.
Okay.
I will, and I'll cry.
Can you give us your updated thoughts when you finish it?
I will feel the exact same way. I don't think any of my thoughts are going to change these episodes.
You never know.
I'm not looking forward to rewatching this on the Blu-ray, mate, on the fucking $1,000 steelbook that I'm going to buy.
What's this, the season... What was the season 9 Blu-ray that was $1,000?
No. Oh, yeah. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Rogue.
Yes.
Bit of fun there, isn't it? Bit of Rogue.
This is the episode I think that if I would say the three standouts, it would be 73 Yards, Boom, and Rogue. I don't think Rogue gave me the tingles that Boom and 73 Yards did, but
mate.
I definitely...
Yeah.
I watched it on my rewatch. I watched it with like a couple of beers. I loved it.
No movement in the nether regions for me with this one, but I did...
Slapping my knee.
Enjoy it, like it's a fun romp. It's sort of like an example, because I think most of them, the episode of the week episodes this season kind of fell flat.
Yeah.
Like 73 Yards, I wouldn't say is an episode of the week because it is like a turn left in a way. It's more of a concept-based episode. Same with Boom. It's like a concept-based episode. Doctor stood on a landmine. What's going to happen in 45 minutes? Whereas this is like, it's just your Doctor Who runaround. And it's done really well because it is just fun and enjoyable. It's probably everything that Space Babies wanted to be.
Yeah, I think it's really fun and it's a good time. And it's obviously like a great representation piece, which is great. I think it didn't do it in a cringe way, which I think Russell would have done it. It's so funny. Like, Russell handles it just shows you can handle the Doctor being gay and it not being cringe, and written in a cringe way. They did it great. I think these lovely ladies whose names I've forgotten.
Kate and Brioni. Brioni?
Kate and
Brioni.
Yes. I think I kind of hate to imagine how Russell would have handled it, but it's like, I think they handled it great. It's amazing representation. I am here for it. I'm so glad that community enjoyed it. And I just had a great time with it. I had fun. I again on the rewatch, I had a couple beers. I loved it. I was slapping my knee and throwing my fists in the air. I had a great time. Cool. I love the Kylie Minogue needle drop.
I think it does one too many with that though. Good things come in threes, mate.
What, because of the bad guy and the
no. The Kylie Minogue song.
Oh, when they
Good things come in 3. They do it 4 times. Don't like it being a 4th time. It's one time too many.
There for it though.
I think it's a little bit cringy, mate. But we'll.
It is a bit cringe, but it's like, I really hope Jonathan Groff returns.
He'll be back.
I think that
soon.
Aiden's girlfriend would love the.
You remember that's a reference to Jonathan Groff playing King George.
Great. I'm sure that all the ladies at home are hoping that he returns. I think he could be a great little character bit for the Doctor. I have heard a few people saying, like, it's funny at the end that she's like, I'm not going to talk about my feelings, and you know, the whole idea of the 14th Doctor going into isolation was to go into therapy, and he's not, but the 15th Doctor's not doing it. He's just like, I'm not going to talk about how I feel because I really love this guy. I'm going to be like, no, fuck you, Ruby. We're not going to talk about it. Let's keep going and adventuring. It kind of contradicts itself a little bit, but I'm happy to let it go.
Do you know I got fucking called out for that?
By who?
I don't know. Someone in the comments said, oh, that's not how therapy works. It's not all an uphill
I go to
thing.
therapy.
And I'm like, I fucking get that. I'm just saying,
Okay.
maybe,
Yeah.
like, I understand he's not a completely different and completely, quote unquote, like, perfect, fixed person after going through that. But, you know, maybe in fucking, before Ruby and the Doctor split in the finale, maybe Ruby sits him down and goes, hey, before we go our separate ways, maybe we should talk about that love that you lost there.
It's funny, I saw someone comment last night on live. It's like, I genuinely would have loved like a five-minute TARDIS scene at the end of some episodes, like, you know, where they just talk around the TARDIS. Like, you know, I made a tweet last week about how I would have killed for like a Kill the Moon scene at the end where like with Clara on the Doctor, like
conflict. Have Ruby turn around and be like, no, like, you need to talk to me about this stuff.
We're friends, aren't we?
We're pals, man.
Yeah.
Aren't we
Look,
pals?
look.
Maybe you just do this.
And like, let's all be respectful to each other. Like, we all go through, you know, I'm sure this person in the comments talking about therapy was trying to be defending of it. We all deal with our own things. I've been going to therapy for like 10 plus years, you know, and I deal with it in different ways than maybe they would. I think we all deal with it in different ways. I think, though, a comment about that is kind of fair, where it's like, well, no, that doesn't really... I don't think that is therapy, because the Doctor is doing the opposite of therapy. He's not talking about it.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of therapy.
If we saw the Doctor, then maybe go, oh, maybe I should pop back to therapy or something. You know, like, I don't know.
You go to therapy and then you go, oh, no, I'm not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, it's just dumb.
I think it's like, if people take that comment away from what I said, I think you're just not listening to what I'm fucking saying. Like,
yes. Well, that's the majority of YouTube comments.
I think you can pick a fight with anything, and that was what that was. So... if Don and Bubble taught me anything, is that people will pick a fight for literally anything you say.
I hate from England. I would say this, like, I think, and I really want this more next year, like, I found the episodes that weren't written by Russell a complete breath of fresh air and a needed breath of fresh air.
And maybe that's just that variety. Like, maybe that's not necessarily Russell's writing as much, even though at times I think it is. But I think it is that it is nice to have that fresh perspective on Doctor Who, and especially considering we've had 4 seasons from Russell before. And this season, big question here, I don't really know what Russell brought new to the table with this season that he hasn't already done in his past 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Oh
no, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't.
It's probably a bit more vocal about some of the messaging in it. But other than that, it's like, that's not...
It's vocal about issues that need to be addressed, but in a way that I think is just not done well.
Yeah.
It's just...
It starts conversations, which we talked about, and like, I think that is a part of a good incentive, but I think we need to start with good stories.
It's like, I probably shouldn't say this because I don't want him to sound like a bad person. My dad's very old. My dad is 64. Okay.
When
he doesn't
I'm
really
64.
He was like, oh,
the devil's cord.
He, you know, he's not like transphobic. Like, he doesn't really understand like the trans shit. But then, like, he watched Baby Reindeer, and, you know, there's a trans character in there, and I spoke to him about it, and he was like, she's lovely, like, she's a lovely person, and he got it, like, he understood it. But it's so funny because we watched Doctor Who, and we watched like Rose and the trans comments, and it was just done so cringy. There was no conversation. Like, a lot of people aren't born to be hateful, but like, sometimes people just don't understand stuff, and I think sometimes it takes TV, like shows like Baby Reindeer, they can explain a trans character.
Yeah, they do it.
You know,
I think
they do it so well that even someone like him, who is like, yeah, I get it now. Like, I understand. Like, she's a lovely woman. Like, and it's just so funny that he thought that, but it's like, kind of rolled his eyes at the trans comments in Doctor Who.
I've said this before. Just to wrap this up, I think Russell has done really well for representation, But I think his messaging that's attached to that representation is done a little bit cringy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've said before, it's kind of like it's almost meant to piss people off, which I know you kind of disagree with in the past. That's completely fine, but it's like it's almost meant to like.
Now he wants us to generate content, so maybe
it's like, you did it in such a like you assumed the meeps pronouns. It's like it's kind of like it's what the
he's trying to spark conversation
like,
with fucking Nerdoric or whatever
it's
the
like,
fuck that
did
wank
you
is
just
called.
assume my pronouns? It's like, it's like, that's what Rose said, which I think is just like, again, I think a lot of people might just be confused and like not as educated as young people, and I think it just shows you that like there are shows like Baby Reindeer that can provide a very good narrative of a trans character.
Yeah.
That can show.
Yeah. Well, I get the point.
Dad,
I think we're treading a lot of familiar ground now. But,
sorry.
No, wrapping up Rogue.
Yeah.
Do you like the bird people?
Yeah, kind of.
They're fun.
Yeah.
Not the most memorable fucks in the
I
world,
like
but they're
them.
fun.
I think they're fun.
Yeah.
I think they're fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, they're just like, I think that I enjoy them more than I should, but yeah, I think they're fun.
Yeah, they're silly.
They're fun.
They're silly but fun. I like them.
Yeah, I think that episode is just a good time.
It is, and the ending's a little silly when they're like Ruby's stuck in the triangle, but then like they can just push her off.
Also, Ruby cocks her neck like they do, and it makes the sound effects.
And you see the electric as she gets done, but she doesn't actually have it happen to her.
It's kind of like weird.
It's a bit cheap there, I think.
It's a weird like misdirect,
but misdirects have to make sense. They can't be.
It's a misdirect, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
because she does the cock. Because I'm sure she could cock her head a little bit, but like it does the crack as well. So it kind of does show like the.
Do you remember like this is just in connection to like seeing scenes? They show you her get like electrified to become a fucking bird cunt or whatever.
Yeah.
But then like they show it again that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Do you remember when in The Walking Dead there was a scene and there was a cliffhanger and it took place entirely at nighttime, and then when they brought the season back 6 months later and they resumed that cliffhanger, they reshot it entirely at daytime. So when it resumes, it's in daytime.
What scene was this?
Oh, I can't remember. There was like fucking zombies, mate. Just that helps. There was a
what series was it?
6 or 7.
I don't know if
You watched this one. It was one that we were all watching as a group. It was when they'd got to that Alexandria place and all the zombies were invading the camp or something. And I think the lady friend that Rick was into, her kid dies or something.
Right.
But yeah, that was like a cliffhanger and it's at nighttime. Then they resume it and it's all at daytime all of a sudden. And it's not that kind of thing where they've sort of cheated the sunrise or anything like that. It's blatantly like they just decided to change the time of day of the scene. I don't know why.
It's so funny. Like Walking Dead was such like a network show.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize that at the time.
Yeah. Well, it didn't start like that. Like it was 6 episode first season, so it was.
But that's a lot. That's normally like a Netflix thing, isn't it? Like 6 episodes for the first season.
Nah, not all the time. No.
Seinfeld.
Did Seinfeld have 6?
For season 1, yeah.
Jeez.
US Office.
All right, let's talk.
Big Bang Theory.
Not Big Bang Theory.
How Many Mother? Like
no, none of them.
Really?
No, I think Big Bang Theory had less, but not. I think Big Bang Theory had like 16 or something.
Right.
All right. Oh fucking hell. The Legend of Ruby Sunday, mate.
Yes.
Yep.
Is it fun? Yes.
Yep.
Could I, from the get-go, see the cracks forming in this episode? Yes.
You kind of were on that shit, hey?
I think I was on the money early on. I don't want to toot my own horn here. But I think there's a few times this season that I started to see the cracks that everyone felt come the finale. And I think this episode was when I really was like, there's some fucking red flags coming up here, mate.
You kind of were onto it.
This episode.
Hate to say it, I don't like to give you props, eh?
No,
I know you know I don't like to, but
the moment like Sutek wasn't in this episode until the last second, the moment nothing happened and it was all just cock teasers and conversational things, as in like sparking conversation with us, like who's Susan, who like what all that stuff. I started to, get a bit soft and realize, this season is quite soft and it's not going to do any of the things it's telling us it's going to do.
And also, Rose is an episode. What are your thoughts on trans rights? No, look, she's wasted. I think that.
Yeah, mate.
I think that.
Sojak wasted. Well, that's the next episode.
Yeah, this. I think it's like it's again like I'm pudding brained. I'm kind of getting it. I enjoy the opening scene where
Yeah, good opening.
they fly into unit. I guess it kind of doesn't explain why the TARDIS doesn't just materialize into unit. They fly in.
Because Sutek's fucking it up, mate.
I know, but it's like, do they really address that?
I think it's self-explanatory.
It shouldn't have to be.
Oh, hold on. No, though. Because then, that only works if Sutek did jump on a Wire Blue Yonder, which we know he fucking didn't. He hitched a ride back in Pyramids of Mars.
It's from there on out, it goes funny.
So, it makes no sense as to why from Wire Blue Yonder onwards the TARDIS gets all fucking crazy.
Technically in the Children in Need special on Skaro, the TARDIS lands like that.
Correct. But
again, that's just Russell being like,
should have been doing that.
It's been happening the whole time.
Should have happened to Smith. Should have happened to Crowder. Should have happened to Peter fucking Davison, mate.
You know, it's funny. Like I've seen Russell being like, and it's so cringe. Like, you know how the TARDIS kind of lands like kind of queasy in the beginning of Impossible Planet.
Yeah,
it goes, and it's like it's Sutek because it's the same voice actor from the
Beast.
The Beat. It's
I do kind of like those.
Cringe.
I don't know. I kind of like that connection there, but
there's no connection, Aiden. It's just Russell being like.
Back in 2006, Russell planned he'd return and do a Sutek story in 2024.
It's so dumb. I think it's a fine episode.
Great cliffhanger, mate. One of the best in a while.
They call him Seth, which I think it's after watching Pyramids of Mars. You know, you hear like. Seth.
Who's Seth?
Seth is one of the names for Sutek, and they mention it in. Did you even watch Pyramids of Mars, Aiden?
No, because I was quite mad watching it, actually.
Yeah? Did you watch it, though?
I watched it, but I wasn't happy watching it.
Why are you mad?
Oh, because it was such a hassle to fucking watch,
it was a hassle to watch it.
It took me literally 45 minutes to get that fucking thing working because of having a VPN, and then BBC's pretty on the money with trying to stop VPNs.
I was mad it was a Ben Cook cut.
Let's move on. But yeah.
Yeah. I heard he missed... there was something. Here's the thing. Like, do you think that I haven't watched all Classic Who because I haven't watched the original cut. I've missed the boring scenes, I suppose. The scenes
I've not seen the original Pyramids of Mars either.
Will you watch it, though?
Yeah, I will when it drops on Blu-ray. I'll watch it.
So what series is this? Is this the series? Okay,
this is after season 12, which we've reviewed all of.
Right. So this season 13.
Yeah.
Right. So Harry is left in the Zygon.
Yeah.
Right.
Premiere, and then I think this is still maybe early on in season 13, but I could be so wrong. I actually don't know.
I think I watched the full cut one day.
We should review the full thing at one point.
Yeah, I think we should.
Not the
Ben Cook, not the Ben Nart cut.
I was going to say the Nart cut.
The Nart cut. Yeah, the Nart. Sorry, if Josh Snares is watching, I love Ben Cook.
What does that mean?
Oh, we just spoke about him. It's all right.
Yeah, okay. Your opinions tainted of Legend of Ruby Sunday?
I think it's a fun episode. I think I was not prepared for the... look, I always like to say... I think I've done a lot of... you know that meme, the crying face, and they have the smiling mask over it, but you can see the tears. That's kind of like me. I've been a lot like this season, where it's like, I think I've pretended to like it more than I have. I'm like, no, it's gonna be okay. Like,
yeah,
I think Russell's actually really done a good job.
You know what the worst thing is for me?
Maybe he hasn't.
Do you know what I hate the most? Is that if this wasn't Doctor Who, I would have stopped watching this show.
That I was literally saying this in the live stream last night. I was like, we watch it because we're fans. Like, the only reason I think Doctor Who gets viewership these days is because of the fans. Like, we have a pass of the show. 100%. I'd be tearing this shit apart even more than I probably am.
A couple of years ago, I had an epiphany where I was like, oh, I don't have to watch the shows that I don't like, because I was watching every Marvel thing, every Star Wars thing, and they were all shit, and I was spending my time just complaining. I'm watching shit things, and And I just thought, why don't I just watch things that I like? And now it's like I only watch like every second Star Wars show. If there's like a unique concept,
I don't watch things that are popular.
I don't watch any Marvel anymore.
Nah, I'm watching The Bear. That's popular.
And you're watching Seinfeld currently?
Yeah, Seinfeld, The Boys.
You watch a lot of
House
popular
Dragon.
stuff, mate.
Yeah. I just started to hop on the trends like fucking Stranger Things and shit. The final season would come out, I'd be like, Stranger what?
You're like, this is the best show ever.
No way, man.
It's so popular.
Seinfeld's old as fuck, bro. You can't.
Still popular,
Can
mate.
we really like use that in an argument?
So speaking of
Kill yourself.
Empire of Death, mate, the finale.
Can I say the worst thing I've ever said on this show ever?
Yeah,
I'm so mad at myself for saying it,
sure.
and I'm sure maybe you picked up on it. But I started the review last week with you, and I said, I really liked it.
That didn't age well, did it?
And
Sorry, that was
I hate that I said that,
right.
and I think it was just like because we were so quick to come down, and it was like, I think I was pudding-brained. I'm like,
You're in denial, I think, more than anything.
yes. I wasn't going to say it, but yes.
You're in denial.
Thank you. I don't know. It's like, I hate that I said it. Like, I hate that I'm like, yeah, no, I liked it. Like, I hate it. Like, I hate that I said that. Like, it's just so, ugh. It's just, it's icky. It's like,
Bad episode, mate.
it's icky. I hate that I said I enjoyed it because, like, I spent the large majority of the review just saying how much I didn't like it.
I think it's shit. I rewatched it, and I do like the first
Have
5.
you rewatched it?
I have, yeah. Have you?
No.
Oh, really? You've only watched it once?
I don't want to rewatch it.
Fair enough.
I probably will soon.
I did like the first 5-10 minutes of it. I thought it actually starts quite strong, but then it loses all momentum, and any chance to set up a world that has been destroyed is not at all played with. We're in a tent. The one thing that they have to sort of try and be like, this is what civilization is like now, is just in a tent getting a spoon. And I was talking to our mate Jezza on Twitter, and he was like, Jeremy, yeah, and he was like pitching like another angle with a spoon to try and make it more interesting. And I just said like, mate, we don't need the fucking spoon. Why did Russell write himself into like, he has to find a spoon to plug the spoon into the TV to make the TV work? Why couldn't the TV just fucking work in the first place? And instead we actually do something that explores this world in a more interesting way.
Did you see Mr. Tars' tweet where it was like the spoon would exist in the memory tiles because they did the spoon dance?
Yeah.
The spoons would exist in the TARDIS.
Spoons, mate.
The spoons would be in the TARDIS. They did the spoon dance.
Or the screen could just work. Why does the screen need fucking metal to work? It doesn't make sense.
It's a waste of time.
And then like we go to fucking 2046 and it's like just boring. And Mel does nothing. I've seen some like YouTubers and stuff say, oh, it was great to see Mel do stuff. I don't think Mel did fucking anything this episode other than turn bad.
But people will say Mel did something because Mel was just in it.
Yeah, but she didn't fucking do anything, mate. She was in
The Doctor-
season 24.
The Doctor was in it.
Yeah.
Did he do something?
He did things.
I suppose.
And then obviously we have the big controversial thing. 2 big controversial things. One, Chuck Sutek on a leash, get that dog out the fucking TARDIS. Don't know how that fucking got okayed.
Don't know how the bungee stayed attached.
Yeah, you're obsessed with that, mate.
I saw someone comment that they agree with me.
Fair. Preach it. Whatever you like, mate. You do you.
It
sister.
wouldn't.
No, I get
work.
it. I get it.
wouldn't work.
I think there's more fucking problems with this than that.
I think that's the main problem. I generally do.
I just think throwing a fucking god into the TARDIS using a fucking leash is just like, how on earth did that get okayed? I will never understand that. And it's things like that that really made me lose faith in this team. Like genuinely, to the fact that this script can get written for one and Russell to say, that's a genius idea. This is the best idea I've ever had. So then send it to Julie and Phil and all that. And then they all go, oh, this is great. Let's do that. Sounds good to me. It's fucking baffling to me, man. And then you throw in the things that point to the sign that magically appears, the ruby sign, that makes no sense. The fact that even in the commentary, Russell sits there and he's like, why is Ruby wearing a medieval cloak? I don't know. It's a wrap of time around her. Fuck it up. Like, man, just so lazy. Unbelievably lazy. You are in the biggest sci-fi job possible, other than maybe like Kathleen Kennedy at Star Wars or something. You're leading fucking Doctor Who. And you are aware that you have big fucking plot holes. You don't do anything about it. You think it's okay to just make bullshit reasons on the spot to explain it? No, man.
I'm gonna go with that. He literally said, like, I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, no. Like,
yeah, it's sad, man.
I think it's really sad. I cannot believe how lazy it is, and I think this episode encompasses some of the cracks that we'd seen in the other episodes. Little lazy things here and there, and then you see it all come together in this episode, and you're like, oh no, this whole season was pretty fucking lazy. And then it gets to the very end, and Ruby's mum, I love that reveal. I think it was the right decision. But I don't think it was set up right before that. The whole idea of, you know, a Hien song. Oh, no, you're so powerful. How? The fucking snow thing. And the doctor saying, oh, because that moment in history is so raw because memory can manifest anything. Ruby doesn't remember being a fucking baby on the doorstep on the day she was born. So that's not a memory that fucking works. And B, like, you can say any line of dialogue to make anything make sense. Doesn't mean I fucking believe it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is so far-fetched for me and so far from the truth. This episode sucks fucking ass, sucks fucking smelly poo.
I hate this analogy you use when you do that.
It's so gross, mate.
But I think, like, I think the worst thing to say is, like, you know, I would never, and I know you two would never, like, recommend this series to anybody. I think it's, like, dumb. I think it's shit. I'm gonna say something that I never thought I'd ever say before. I think Russell coming back was a bad idea. Yes.
What's the point of being alive?
I just don't think...
That's a big bombshell.
Well, look, I think that I know how capable he is as a writer. I've seen it. I've even seen it in this season. I just think, this whole, like, generates content thing, I think... everything you just said then. I mean, you can say it better than I did. I think that it's just so insane. You feel used. It's just so baffling to me that this exists. There's just so many things that even we're on a fucking podcast, for God's sake, Aiden.
Yeah.
And we have better ideas.
Can I ask you a big question here?
Sure.
What's a better season of Doctor Who, this or Flux?
Flux. Well, I think
both of them have shit finales. So
can I be honest? I never even hated the Flux finale that much. I mean, there might be proof on this.
I think
very
the Flux
channel.
finale fucking sucks ass, mate. But
maybe, but like I think that, like, look, obviously Flux doesn't have Boom on 73 hours, or even like Rogue.
But the story works.
But I think what Flux did was just like it took you on like this. It was like a fucking roller coaster. I was like, whoa! I was always going up and down, like peaks and valleys, and it was just fun. John Bishop was in it. He was a great inclusion. It was just fun, and we had Jericho, and we had what's his name from Game of Thrones, fucking Vinder.
Yeah, he's great.
You know, it was just fun. Like I think it was fun.
I think if Russell wants to reshape Doctor Who for a modern streaming age and spark conversation, you can do the episode of the week thing, sure, but you need a stronger through line between it. And I know a big problem, and this maybe sounds contradictory because what we're saying is the whole like Snow Ruby's thing didn't quite work, but like the way that Flux like jumps between episodes, a roller coaster, and it sparked conversation. That was the most fun I'd have with the season of Doctor Who in a long time, because every week we had a cliffhanger and it was so interesting. I got really sick of the formula. Sick of the formula for this season. Remember saying going into Rogue, I wasn't that excited because you knew it was going to be, we landed this.
I think after 73 yards, we both lost, I think, a lot of like just
a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
Because they also stopped addressing.
And they came back. Like
they stopped addressing the Ruby stuff, things like that. It all sort of fell apart where Flux, like Village of the Angels isn't quite a episode of the week, but it almost is. And I think in Flux, obviously COVID, I'm not saying Flux should have had more episodes because of the restrictions and all that. But you could do like a Flux with maybe 2 episodes of the week mixed into it. Do you know what I mean? Like we can still have those moments for your 73 yards and stuff if you have and have like a larger ongoing story, because that's the 2024 network. That's 2024 streaming model.
I think as well, Flux, like it was COVID, and I think that like, you know, again, like the limits are possibilities, you know. They kind of had limited time and limited everything, and it just kind of worked.
Yeah.
When Russell has this, he has a
kajillion dollar
he's
budget.
God. He can do anything. He can pick a story from Tom Baker's era and bring it in and do his own thing. You know, I never would have believed you if I said that I enjoyed Fox a little bit more. I hate to say it. I just think that like, where the show's in a very strange place. Everyone seems to be. It's like, you know what, Russell keeps talking about generating content. You know what generates content? Great TV.
Yeah, good TV, mate. Yeah.
Hashtags, man. Great TV. Hashtag Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Was great this week. Amazing. Another one. Hashtag Doctor Who was amazing this week. Another one. Hashtag Doctor Who. Best TV I watched all week. You know, that's what generates content. Not bullshit storylines that no one really cares about. They go nowhere. And
Sutek's there just to be a villain as well. Like Sutek's there to be even lazier for Russell because Russell doesn't even have to set up who he is, you know?
Sutek is like, and I watched Pyramids of Mars the night before. Sutek is like, it's laughable about how bad he is.
Yeah.
It's just, it's pathetic. Why does
he ain't
Sutek
a dog,
care?
mate. He's a puppy.
He's a puppy,
He's a
man.
fucking puppy.
He's Scrappy Doo.
Going,
He's so obsessed with Ruby because she's.
Meanwhile, the Vanquishers.
The Vanquishers. I kind of like the Vanquishers. I kind of like the Vanquishers.
And Power Def.
I like the. I do love the. I kind of like the chucking the watch into the.
Yeah, I like that. I just think it's like rushed and messy and stuff.
It is, but so's this shit, you know?
Yeah.
It's Doctor Who, you know? I think it's just, Sutek is just the most wasted.
Lame tech, mate.
He's such a great villain that could be used so well. He's the god of death, and it's so lazy, and I don't know why or how it happened, but it did.
Last question.
Here we are talking about it.
Wrap up Empire Death real quick. Great shot at the end that I think has gone under the radar a little bit where the TARDIS dematerialized, everyone's fucking crying, melodramatic Russell stuff. That actually does kind of work. But then there's a really great shot, just like close up of Ruby crying. And then off screen, Ruby's like genetic mother, her arm comes up around her. And then it pulls out and you see Ruby's mom and the family all walking to the shot as it pulls out. I thought that was a really nice touch. For a couple of episodes that I don't think were badly directed, but I don't think they were Doctor Who directed at its best.
I think it was like kind of weak.
At times it was. I think there was some sequences that I thought were a little shoddy.
Where's my boy Mr. Holmes?
Bring back Mr. Holmes.
Bring back Mr. Holmes.
But yeah, last thing just so we can wrap up and move on to upgrade and delete.
Yeah.
Did you like the very ending? Did you like Ruby's farewell?
Sure. I think it's like wasted opportunities from these very talented actors. Yeah, I hate the scene where it's like, why don't you come see my dad with me? And she's like, oh, you won't, but you don't do that, do you? And he's like, no, I don't. It's like, we've never seen this on screen. We know this because we're Doctor Who fans and the Doctor doesn't do that. We've never seen the Doctor and Ruby discuss this on screen.
A that, B,
It's
Russell, stop just recycling shit from your first era, mate. Like, we've
It's
done
very
it.
Jackson Lake. It's very Donna from Runaway Bride.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't do this. You know, it's like, yeah, we get
done
it.
that
But
so
we
many
know, but we
times.
know that. But regular audiences don't know that.
Oh, I get that, yeah.
I think we don't understand these characters. I don't get this Doctor. I don't get this companion. It's sure it's sad because I think that Millie is incredibly talented and it's going to suck that we don't see her as much next season. That's all I care about because I think she's just so talented.
She's so talented, mate.
I don't necessarily care about her fucking character per se. That's Russell's fault, not hers.
Yeah. Shooty and Millie are incredible this season.
It's such a waste of young talent. It's
That's
insane
so
how they fumbled it so badly. And I fucking hate to say it, but it sucked.
I see.
You when you see all the Russell haters, you're like,
Oh, I see it now. I get it. I mean, there's stuff I love, obviously, but it's like, yeah.
All right, folks, let's move on to your guys' opinions where you either give us the good
Well, that's all right then.
or the bad. whatever you guys think of the episodes, we're here to judge your opinions on the episodes. And we're going to either upgrade or delete them.
Upgrade in progress.
Upgrade or delete, baby. All right. I've not actually, usually I come prepared and I fish through these beforehand, but I'll be honest, I've been not Doctor Who brained, and I have not been
we can't blame you for that, Aiden, because I haven't been either.
Mate, so yeah, I've not gone through these yet, but let's have a look. So this is your thoughts on Empire of Death. Tony Chi says, I'd give this episode 6 out of 10. The beginning was good, but I don't understand how it got resolved. Why did Sutek die in the time vortex if he survived there for all those years? And how in the world does death plus death equal life? Makes no sense at all. Absolutely agree.
That's completely...
It's like a negative plus negative equals a positive
There's
is
so
math.
many...
But
it's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Yeah, it's dumb. Here's someone trying to explain it here. Sutek died because he was there twice. The first time he survived. The second time he brought the gift of death to the time vortex, which had himself in it. So he died?
No, you're wrong.
That makes... Okay, A, that's not what's said. That doesn't get brought up in the episode. B, that's bullshit. Like, if that is true and it is in the episode, that's the most
defending,
wanky
like,
thing.
bad storytelling.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Fuck, that's dumb. Yes, I'm just reading the discourse after that one. Sarah Glover says, a lot of 73 yards references, which confused me, and had a lot of fan service with planet references, etc.
Yeah, the Ood sphere, wasn't it?
Oods? Oh, I was kind of so mad, though, when that came up. I was like, Russell, stop tugging your dick, mate.
Oh, the Ood's okay.
There's a lot of RTD era references.
Yeah.
And, I don't blame him. If I was him, I'd probably do the same thing. But
the Oods are okay, of course.
Knew he'd have to turn back time somehow, as everyone pretty much guessed Kate and co would be dead in the first 2 minutes. Still no explanation on how Ruby causes snow if her parents are just normal humans.
Yes.
Totally agree. Doug, good old Doug says.
Love Doug.
So, Miss Flood is Mary Poppins?
Who gives a shit who she is?
Oh, don't give any fucks, mate. Stop
Who
talking
cares?
mate, stop talking to me. That's what whenever she talks, I'm like, stop fucking talking to me.
You
And
know,
talk
Russell in the
talk to the
teaser's
person
like,
on screen.
And why was Mrs. Flood still on that rooftop at the end? Well, you'll just have to wait and see. Please come back. He says that. Please come back.
Please come.
He knows we're mad.
He knows we're at our edge.
He knows
mate.
we're at. Please come back. I will come back. You knew I would. You already knew I would.
It's so silly. Jess Hood says it was a good enough ending. Mel should have gone to dust with the unit crew, making it more scary. Nah. Natalie Catarino says, I was so annoyed by how they build up the mystical elements of Ruby and her birth family for it to mean nothing.
Yes.
I love that Ruby's mum is just an ordinary woman, but the explanation for the snow, the pointing, and the 73 yards effect of not seeing her face in the time window are so ineffectual. Yeah, man. The amount of curveballs that Russell threw in this to just be like, it's a curveball. Whoa. That mean nothing.
It's content.
It's content. Yeah.
It's content.
You know how people put in and argue like people hate like
go on TikTok.
People hate like media and stop being referred to as content. Russell has wanted to generate content, and in doing so, he's turned Doctor Who just into content.
It's been doing really well on TikTok.
Fuck that.
Which makes sense because it's just content.
Kill yourself.
So
Even I think that's dark.
Huh?
It's a joke.
Okay.
Huh?
James Toby says, anyone who says this is not a 10 out of 10 is incorrect.
Bro, is that a joke?
He then goes, this includes the host of this podcast. I was genuinely crying at the cinema. James, mate.
That includes the host of this podcast? Which one? Is he a friend of you or I?
Hosts, plural, us.
Oh, all right.
James, mate, I love that you loved it. I love that you have this opinion, mate. But
why does he travel with someone as stupid as you?
I also then replied to his comment and said, bro, you can't say people's opinions are incorrect. Laughy face emoji.
Oh, you did reply. Okay.
Our pal, the real ball, who made us the Bridgerton theme, said, I saw this in cinema, which has only added to the disappointment. I came away from it with a better appreciation for Legend, but this two-parter is sadly one of the worst revival finales in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit better than the Battle of Ranscore of Colossus, but worse than Ascension plus the Timeless Children, and I'd probably have to agree.
That's another thing to bring up, I suppose, as well. Is like, you know, they charge fans money for this to go watch it.
Yeah.
Like, they charged money. People went to go pay money, and it made like, I saw it like it made like a 350,000.
Yeah, which is good considering you'd usually get
Amazing.
like nothing.
That's amazing, but
Yeah.
did it deserve it? No,
mate, no.
It's just taking advantage of fans, like you said. The steelbooks, like,
Yeah, taking our fucking money, mate.
yeah, it's taking advantage of the fans, which I think is absolutely disgusting, and I have nothing else to say other than.
Do you know one of the crazy things I saw is that people? It was like watching when I watched the fucking last Star Wars Skywalker, Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
And like the audience, like some people laughed at, some people like some people cheered when
I
Ray
heard
and Kylo
people
kissed.
moaned when they did the point.
The point to the Ruby Road sign, people moaned. That's when you know it is fucking bad, mate. If the audience is verbally like, "Oh, for fuck,"
There's no producers or like industry people in that theater. It's just fans. Like they are like us, trying to enjoy content.
I saw this fucking funny tweet, mate, where it was like, RTD, we changed the sonic screwdriver so kids don't think it's a gun.
Fucking funny.
And then you see fucking Lenny Rush with his like shooty
Dude,
scooter where it's like
he just contradicts himself.
Yeah. Because one of my problems with Russell is I think he makes the rules, and I
know it was fun to like meme on. I think we always have to meme on like the head showrunner. Mm-hmm. It happened to every one of them. Mm-hmm. I feel like Chibnall just did his thing, I feel like, and stuck by it. Russell, he puts his own nails in his own coffin. Like
he's hammering, mate. We should bring him on Who to Be Buried with.
We should. I'd love to have him on. He's been on Brett Goldstein's bullshit pod.
Yeah.
I just think
podcast.
like, bro, he's out here going like, this is the biggest final since season 4. Why? Because you brought Sutek back? Do you really think Sutek's as big as Davros? You have an absolute laugh.
Some of the old faithfuls jumped over onto Twitter, so just to wrap up and give a bit of love to our old faithful listeners. Let's jump through those, okay, real quick. No, that's not cool. Comedy Podcast says, I think the number of episodes this season has really hampered it. I disagree with that because I don't think it's the episode count. It's what you do in the episodes.
Say again, please, sorry?
I think the number of episodes this season has really hampered.
Yeah.
Yes. You agree? You think 8?
I agree, yeah.
I think 8's enough if you fucking do the right thing with the episodes.
True detective.
Exactly. Compared to RTD 1, we've lost 5 episodes in which the Doctor and Ruby can develop their relationship. So when she leaves, we feel the same as the characters. All emotion in this episode felt flat, which I do agree with. But I think that's because we didn't have the conflict. We didn't have the ups and downs throughout it. It's a Sin is 5 episodes long, written by Rusty Davis. And the episode, spoiler alert, okay, you got 5 seconds if you haven't seen it to look away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The main character dies. You feel so much emotions to that, and you've been with this character for 4.5 episodes, really, because it's not the last scene that the character dies.
He dies halfway through.
Yeah. So
I was crying my eyes out.
Yeah, mate, and none of that in this episode.
I felt the emotions so much. Yeah.
Dylan,
who's
got a new miniseries coming out.
Yeah.
Dylan says, watched it in the cinema, which was cool, but Sutek once again does nothing but sit down. Bro is so boring. I don't mind the she's a normal woman twist, although it does feel a bit lackluster. On to the next one, I guess. Which is sort of how I feel, where it's
like the next one, yeah.
I hope the next one's better.
Would you go to see it in the theatre?
Oh, I think I'll always see Doctor Who at the theatre if there's an opportunity to do so. But I think, like, for me, this is like...
Do you think people in Perth will recognise us?
No. It's like, to wrap up my final fucking Freo analogy for the day.
Jesus Christ.
Freo wins, and I'm like, Doctor Who's so great, and Freo sucks, and I'm like, okay, we're not that good. Always next week, guys.
Who are Freo again?
They're my Australian football team.
Who
They
are
actually
they?
just won a game, if you didn't know. God, this pod's going so long. Adam Williams says, mixed episode for me. Wouldn't have minded something like Ruby was the last of the Ozarans. Adam, you've lost me, mate. I don't know what this Doctor Who lore is, but I appreciate... I appreciate you wanted something more there.
You don't even read it. You're just like, I give up. You give up. You just give up.
I love Adam, mate. Adam's great. Fucking go Crom, mate. Jeremy, big jazza says RTD is never beating Go Clom. Jeremy says RTD is never beating the Deus Ex Machina ending allegations. I think he either needs to get a co-writer for finales going forward or drop the mystery boxes if he doesn't know how to satisfyingly resolve them. Possibly, yeah. DJ Alpha says, listening to your thoughts right now, I pretty much agree with what you both have to say. Very underwhelmed.
I love DJ Alpha.
And Certified Axon Enjoyer says, Sutek gives you the gift of a mid-episode.
I will keep you safe. You will be at home again.
Are you just pressing random things on the sound pad now?
I knew that was that one. And that's great.
No matter what you say or what you do, they still love me!
So, Connor, just to wrap up our thoughts on the series, we both think he's pretty disappointed, both a little bit of a soft boner.
Soft boner?
I gave Church and we wrote a 7, Space Babies a 7, The Devil's Court a 6, Boom an 8, 73 Yards a 9, Dot and Bubble a 6, Rogue a 7.5, Legend of Ruby Sunday a 6, and Empire of Death a 6, which gives it a total series score of 6.9. Which I think is kind of generous, to be honest, because I think this
That's
series,
close to 7.
yeah, and I think that's because this series is so consistently like, yeah, okay,
Shit.
yeah, our Siri's been fucking activated again. Siri, fuck off. Siri, leave. Siri, go away.
Okay.
Thank you.
That comes through the show, which is great.
It does. It's so consistently like, okay, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's a couple of greats and a couple of blasts.
So you go at 6.9.
6.9 is my average.
That's so insane.
I think
you're so close to a 7, which is like don't you call your 7 an A?
I think 7's an A, yeah. So
you gave season 1 an A.
Sucks, mate. I wish
you
it was
gave
a
season
6.
1 an A.
I wish it was a 6.
You gave it an A.
That's the math, mate. That's the math of all my scores. Well, let's get to yours, mate, and you might cry a bloody river.
Oh, no.
Church and Ruby
I
Road
don't
a
know
7.
this, by the way.
Space Babies a 7.5. Devil's Court 6.5. Boom, you gave us a 9. 73 Yards, you gave a 9. Dawn Bubble, you gave a 5. Rogue, you gave an 8. Legend of Ruby Sunday a 7.75. And the Empire of Death a 6. Giving you, mate, a total series score of 7.3.
No. It burns. It burns.
I'm dying.
It burns.
I've dug my own grave.
It burns. Get it away from me. 7.3.
Yeah, mate.
Christ.
You fucking love this series, mate, and you know it.
I'd give this
you disagree with yourself.
I'd give it like maybe a 5.5.
Fuck, that's deep, mate. That's steep.
Maybe a 6.
Guys,
That's so ridiculous.
We're going to wrap up and head to the pub and get a fucking meal, mate.
Yes, I need to pee as well.
That's our celebratory wrap drinks. Well done on a good series of podcasts,
thank you.
mate.
Thanks for all your hard work.
You too, buddy.
Thank you.
You've been great, mate. I've loved doing this.
You've been amazing.
I've loved watching the show with you.
I've loved watching the show with you too.
And doing our show. It's been great, mate.
And I've been doing our show, yeah. I loved it.
Good fun,
I really
mate.
have.
I loved every second.
And I loved doing the live streams until I quit yesterday.
You've quit.
For 2 weeks.
Thank you,
Mr. Holmes.
for being the standout of the season.
The best director.
Your favourite episode of the season, Connor, is?
73 yards.
Same. Your least favourite of the season is?
Dot and Bubble.
Oh, fuck, that's hard. Dot and Bubble or Empire of Death?
Ooh, I feel like... Okay,
I think Empire of Death.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, no, I think Empire Death... Yeah, actually, I didn't think it till now. Empire Death.
Put it in the fucking bin, mate.
Because at least Dot and Bubble was just an episode of the week. The Empire Death was like the final. It was meant to be the biggest thing since sliced bread. You got a theatrical release, for Christ's sake. Empire Death, worst episode of the series. Goodbye. See you later.
Guys, we'll be back next Monday. We're going to talk about Prince of Mars, the Narc edition.
I'm probably talking... Yeah, the narc edition.
The narc cock. I mean, narc cook. No.
Benny and the Jets.
We'll be back then, folks.
Benny.
Stick around, guys. Plenty of more content to
Benny.
come. We'll settle down. We'll be weekly every Monday from here on out. Back on the old schedule. So if you want to
When's
break,
this episode coming out?
this will be out this Monday, mate.
So we missed a week.
No.
Technically.
Well, we came out last Saturday and now we're this Monday. So it's been 9 days between episodes. Give us a fucking break.
So
mate.
we missed a week.
No, well, I mean, if you want to be pedantic, yes.
Well, I wouldn't count it, but I'm still going to be like, we never missed a week.
We've never missed a week, mate. We've been doing this podcast for 47 years. And
I mean,
we've
I
never
did
missed
the
a week.
live show. That counts.
There you go.
That's a show, isn't it?
If you want to call it that. I'm kidding. I love your live shows, mate. You're doing
Fucking
God's work over there. You're doing incredible. All right, guys. It is Aiden's and Connor's podcast. We're doing Doctor Who reviews. Yeah. Doing Doctor Who reviews. First drink down the pub, mate. Is it going to be a beer or a Guinness?
Well, the last time we keep going down to this local of yours, they don't have Guinness. They keep giving us Kilkenny because there's been a shortage.
Have you been since we last went?
I think so. I can't remember.
Well, we'll play it by ear, but I've had a few beers already today, so I might move on to gin pretty quick, but we'll see.
Gin,
mate.